Good morning, Sri Lanka. Welcome back to the show. Well, you caught me off surprise there. We were just speaking to the doctors here because it happens to be a very special, it's an important week of awareness.
The Ministry of Health has declared that this week will be the National Poison Prevention Week, and under that mandate we have with us Dr. Varuna Gunatilaka as well as Dr. Anil Jasingha, who are here as part of, as spokespeople actually for this cause, because it is something that the public should be aware of, because poisons are there in our lives, and we do come across these things, especially children, and the adults are aware of it. But I think having a sort of focused approach when it comes to the prevention is always the best way to go, and it's great to have you on Good Morning Sri Lanka. Welcome back to the show again, gentlemen. Alright, so speaking about forms of poison and toxins that we may not be aware of in our daily lives. Doctor, you were mentioning about a type of poisoning that can happen due to CFL bulbs. So let's speak about that, or how you can prevent it using CFL bulbs maybe.
Yeah, the CFL bulbs, you should not fear about to use it. You can use it, CFL bulbs. It's economical really, right? But the issue is that CFL bulbs contain mercury. It's a hard metal, heavy metal. It contains mercury. The problems arise if the CFL bulb accidentally or it breaks. If it breaks, that mercury will release to the environment.
Right.
So that's toxic. It's really a hard toxin.
Okay.
It affects the development of the brain, and it has a high toxicity to the children's. So that you have to be very careful about its usage. But you can use it, but it's a safe use. So, but in consumer's point of view and the health advice, what I have to say is, if you had encountered with an broken CFL bulb, so that you have to keep away your small guys around from the incident.
The children,
children's, because their respiratory rate or the breathing rate is very high. So this mercury get vaporized and it can go into the lungs and it can cause us adverse effects for the health.
Right.
Another thing is now that to collection of this debris or this particulate matters, you should not use a broomstick.
Why is that?
Even the vacuum cleaner. So why that if you are using it, you are splashing all these things around and it will further aggravate the evaporation. So you should not use. So public should educate about that. So then what the safest way is get a wet clothes and collect those particles and keep it into a sealed container and keep it outside the home. So that's the safe use.
That's the solution to that.
Wow, I did not know that at all, that there are these heavy metal particles in a CFL bulb. Because I mean, if a CFL bulb just broke near me, I would just sweep it up using a broom. But that's really important. I think that the viewers should know that they should use a wet cloth to pick up the shards and then dispose it in a sealed container. Now again, talking about more practical approaches that you can take to poison control, you mentioned earlier also about how you can choose fish from the market and some steps that you can do sort of employ to make sure that you are picking the freshest produce for your family.
The danger comes now most sometimes that you might encounter the fish contaminated with the formalin. Because formalin, as you know, it's usually used to preserve the dead bodies, corpses. So even for the fish trade also, to keep those fish and for a shelf life very high. So this sometimes they are using it. But the formalin is carcinogen. It causes cancer. So you have to be very careful about that. So that once you are buying this fish, so there are some observation findings that once you can spot this whether is it contaminated with some chemicals or not, especially the formalin. The number one is that as you are approaching for this fish vendor, please look at whether flies are around or not. So if the flies are not around, usually it contains some chemical, maybe formalin. So that's the first thing. Second,
that makes a lot of sense.
The second one is that please look at the eyes of the fish. If the fish, that eyes are very shiny and very bright and very clear, so it contains formalin.
Otherwise the eyes should
eyes should be blurred and opaque. Right, that's the one thing. Other thing is that if the fish vendor allows, you can press it with your finger, and if you feel that rubbery consistency, so probably it may have some contaminant.
Just to make things clear, doctor, if you do consume this in the long run, you keep consuming fish that has that's
formalin in it.
What would happen to your body? Because I understand you told me something about diabetes also being linked to this as well.
Rather than the diabetes, now the formalin is considered as cancer-forming organ, that chemical. So it's a long run. It can cause cancer. So that's the danger of that. So that's why that we should not use it. And we should not get consume the contaminated foodstuffs with this type of chemicals.
Right. Dr. Jarsinger, you mentioned that this week you're having a lot of activities at the center. Can you tell us, to the public that's watching right now, what sort of activities we can expect to see here?
Yeah, the one is exhibition actually.
Okay.
I think there are some pictures of those as well, but you can go on, Doctor.
Yeah, it's on actually the poisonous snakes, and then there are certain certain plants, poisonous plants. So we certainly educate, especially the young children. And we are getting a lot of school children, and there are especially advanced level students who are doing research for their academic purposes. This kind of exhibition would be helpful for them to go ahead with their studies. So actually this is
there we go. So these are some of the exhibits.
as a routine, once in 2 years or so we would like to have such exhibitions.
And so also annually you would like to have
and also we are into distributing certain leaflets among patients, and then we will have some billboards in public places near Lipton Circus. That is of course long run affair. So those are some of the things that we have other than this e-waste project.
And also I have to ask you, Doctor, now these activities are happening here in sort of Colombo and its suburbs, but what's happening as sort of a propaganda and campaign and disseminating this information in the rural areas? Are there any steps that you will carrying out now or maybe in the future?
No, really the Ministry of Health has issued a special circular to all the healthcare institutions under the government control to mark this week with some useful health awareness programs.
So it's not
just it's not confined to the Colombo district. It's in the length and breadth of the country, and each and every healthcare institution under the government control. So through the government ministerial circular, so that that they are actually continuing through the health education units of the respective hospitals, so that they are conducting health awareness programs to the farming community as well as the general community. So it's an ongoing process.
And also there's another thing now, we would like people to know more about our toxicology and poison information center. That is also one thing, because now day to day we meddle with lot of chemicals, lot of even for anything, right? So as a layman, sometimes you need facts, you need to know certain, so you can call the hot number, and that is one thing. And also lot of, as we discussed, lot of people following poisoning get admitted to various hospitals in the country. And then even for the doctors, at the rate that the pharmaceutical drugs are being introduced to market, at the rate the various chemicals are introduced to market, even doctors they cannot simply all of a sudden get updated about these things. So that is why we need to have a central agency where this information can be quickly disseminated. So this center has been there for last 25 years, but then the last few years its role has come down, and now since the early this year this center is doing a lot of work in this field. So we are going to have 24-hour hotline in time to come.
Maybe we should share the hotline as well as the email address that you have given us.
Yeah,
if you want to get the newsletter for the center here from the National Hospital. Jason,
yes, I will give that out. The email address is infotalkslanka@gmail.com. That's infotalkslanka@gmail.com. That's if you need to find more information about it, you can just email them there. But doctors, unfortunately, we are out of time, and it's obviously everyone that's watching right now is gaining awareness about the situation that's unfolded right now. So thank you again for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure having you. So yeah, unfortunately, Maya, it's the weekend. No, fortunately, what am I saying? It's the weekend.
It's
tomorrow.
the weekend.
It's the weekend. So well, I'll see you on Monday.
On Monday as well. We'll see you on Monday as well. It's been great having you on the show. But right now, that doesn't mean that we have ended the
no, we haven't.
show. We have another great segment coming up as well. Do stay with us here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.